It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2023 pre-Christmas and winter edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk about the businesses with the business owners, the CEOs and CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. Now, we learn how they got into business, why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges and opportunities, marketing and advertising, broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Happy weekend to Steve. Here we are in December, all ready to rock.
We are, Tom. I have a problem, Tom.
Oh, you do have lots of problems. Are we going to list them?
Right now.
I have to be somewhere this week. I can't wait for that.
You don't have that much time, do you, John?
That was Attorney Murphy. Be quiet. We haven't introduced you yet. You're not here. There's too many things to eat this time of year, and I got on the scale and, and digital. It said one at a time, please.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rough.
It is. It's very tough, and you have to be disciplined. In fact, now that I'm 632 pounds, I have to take off a few pounds to get down to normal. We were talking about what I would eat like on Christmas Eve, instead of all the stuff and the pies and the things.
More protein?
Yeah, more protein. And actually, as an Italian boy, and for those of you who don't know, I'm Italian, right? Smelt, right?
You like that?
I love smelt.
I don't think I've ever had it, and I'm a fish guy.
Fish, yeah.
Isn't it sardines?
Well, no, they're bigger than that.
Freshwater sardines.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
I'll go shrimp scale.
They're nice.
That kind of thing.
See, I can't do shellfish, but I can do the other thing. But that, and, Kelly was saying, why don't we make our own hummus? So that you use the right oils and stuff like that.
That's a great, it's kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, and I love red pepper, so we'll cut up some red pepper. So you got to think alternatively, or you'll be as big as a house.
So we're going to be, Tom and I are on a journey. We were talking a little before the show started, and we want to preserve ourselves for others to some extent here.
That's right.
So just look for it. You'll hear us. You're not going to recognize this here in a few months.
Right. Send in some healthy choices. Why don't we do that? Yeah. Send it to Steve at zoeyadvertising.com if you've got recipes.
We'll take it. And speaking of healthy, Attorney Murphy, he's down a few sizes.
Absolutely. But I got to tell everybody else who else is on the show.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Jane Senke's going to stop by. She did my garage door along with her family. She's the co-owner of Senke CNY Garage Door. Jennifer Covert is the executive director of Meals on Wheels of Eastern Onondaga County. Dave Ferguson, an old friend of mine, is going to stop by. He's the owner of Fullscope Home Inspection. Aaron Look is the owner of The Glass Doctor here in Syracuse. He'll have a conversation with us. Randy Wolkin, the president and CEO of Macne, is stopping by. Natasha Schmidt, co-owner of Rubberstone, New York. And then Brian Dumond will round us out. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Now we can say hello to the attorney, John Murphy. How are you there, John?
I'm doing well. Happy holiday season to everybody.
Yes, and right back at you.
I stole a parking place here at the parade, the Christmas parade last week in Beeville, and I knocked on the door of Murphy's house and hey, can I park in your yard? And got a tour of the house, got to meet the family again. Yeah. And it was fun, right in the village of Beeville.
Oh, I bet you were happy about that.
It was fine, I actually welcomed it. My wife has worked very hard over the last many years to make her house what it is. Yeah. And any chance we get to show it off to other people.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I was there a dozen years ago, whenever. Yeah. And what a wonderful rebirth of that home, just in a classic way. It's not modern. It's just tasteful.
We took it all the way back to Victorian. It was a white siding, aluminum siding, and peeled that off, and all the clapboard was pretty good. So now there's actually, I think, 5 different colors.
It's a lot of work, but well worth it over there in Beeville, right? Here in Beeville, yeah. Most people want a full month to know that Steve's coming over.
I was stuffed,
Yeah, I know. I didn't break anything. But you look at a house like that, and people or any house and
Right.
a bridge thing. If someone doesn't protect that, sham, boom, bang, dad falls, mom gets sick, nursing home. What's a nursing home in Onondaga County?
About $16,000 a month.
That's all.
A year later, or 2 years, there goes the house, right?
The equity's gone. You don't have anything to leave to your children.
That's crazy.
Do you find it? People. And, Steve, it doesn't have to be some great big mansion out in Manlius or something.
Right.
I'm in a nice little village.
He's in the village, right.
Right. Is it tougher to get people on board with your services in the festive season? During this time,
People put it off.
Is it more difficult?
A lot of people feel that they don't have the time to do things right now, or their attention is divided.
Right.
Or they just don't want to deal with it, right? Because what are we talking about? We're talking about long-term disability or death, right? Yes. Who wants to think about that?
Fun stuff.
Well, I think about it every day.
A really great holiday season. But then what we do find is, they got together with the kids. The kids might notice some changes. Mom and dad, you have this stuff together. New Year's can bring around some people saying, all right, finally time to do this. And people say, when's a good time to have a will? When's a good time to have a trust? I say, you never need one until you do.
Yeah, right.
It's like an airbag or seatbelt, right?
Yeah.
You don't need it until you need it. So why not have it now so it's ready for that time?
Yes.
Yeah,
and then it's off your plate, right? And then it's done.
I was shocked to find out that a trust costs less than a will. That was like the biggest. We've known each other a long time now.
Yep.
That was the biggest surprise to me, was that a trust costs less than a will
in the long run. Yes.
Well, in the total,
to be clear to our listeners, right?
well, right, but it's still in the long run. Meaning, once the process is through, when it's all said and done,
and because you're staying out of probate, right? So. A will is your golden ticket to the New York State court process for your family. Okay, you bought it in advance, and it's going to make sure that your children have to go through the court system in order to settle your estate. And that's probably the biggest error out there, that people think that because they have a will, they don't have to go to court. Well, the will has to go through court. It's actually not a legal will until the judge says it is. Right.
Okay.
So the judge has to decide: was it done correctly? Was it witnessed properly? All those other things. Have people had a chance to contest it if they want to contest it?
Right.
Once all those things are done, the judge can then decide, that's a legal will, and I'm going to issue a court order naming the executor to be in charge of the estate.
and there's fees attached to all those things, right?
Yeah, the court has a fee, and then 99% of people hire attorneys. There is a system if you have an estate under $50,000. It's called a simple estate or small estate. You can do that on your own, unless there's real estate. You could have a piece of land worth $5,000 that has to go through regular probate.
Right. So people, even though it is the holiday season, you have plenty of staff and you have openings to where people can start conversations and possibly finish conversations.
Absolutely. Give us a call. Talk with a case manager. They'll schedule you. If you need to get in this month and then we'll do the next appointment after the new year, that's fine. Just get the process started, right? That's one of the things that you can say, I've crossed that off my list. And then once you become a client of ours, you're automatically in our what we call our client care program. We're going to check in with you next year. How are things going? Any changes, any updates, things like that. So we don't like to do paper. We like to have relationships. And we have over 400 families in our client care program that we meet with every year or as needed.
So case managers, what I heard you say is you can call and ask some questions and have a conversation.
Yes.
370-9977. What area goes that in, Tom?
The big one.
The big one, okay.
315.
There we go. 370-9977, Safe Harbor Wills and Trust. They can go on that website and they can send you a flare too. They can get you that way.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, John.
Sounds great. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Jane Senke. She's the co-owner of Senke CNY Garage Door. Grab it and slam it right here on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it. Back at it again. You've got the local show with Tom and Steve. Thank you for joining us in this holiday season. It is official that it's the holiday season, and boy, I'll tell you what, that COVID screwed up everything. I'll tell you, it's like a master reset
Tom,
in your vehicle.
You know you're not allowed to say that word on the show anymore.
Oh, and then, now we've moved way beyond COVID. I heard that doctor they have on WSYR here from the Cleveland Clinic talking about everything. You got a shot for this, a shot for that, a shot for. It's like, are you kidding me?
They're not. No, it's
you know what my mother used to say back when we were kids? She used to say, you got a cold. Yeah, well, she said that. You say, you got a cold. Shut up.
Yeah.
You got a virus. Shut up. Go in your room.
No, we would just cook for a few days and we'd be fine.
Yes, that was it. It's like, holy cow, I just can't believe all the junk out there. Now, my daughter's sounding like me. She's coming down and saying, I got a sore throat. I don't know what's wrong with me and this and that. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. I saw someone recently, walking down the road with a dog with an N95 on.
Oh, get out.
No, Are you kidding? I can't talk to you right now. I just can't do it.
People still doing that, thinking they're.
And if that was you, listener, I'm sorry. It just you embarrass all of us.
No, sorry, not sorry. That's just a little bit. I think I'm a hypochondriac.
Well,
that's
you are.
Nuts. I am.
Just to be clear.
and folks, just I don't wear one, and I'm nuts. Yeah. So anyway, speaking of somebody who's more grounded and well-rounded, it's Jane Senke. She's from Senke Garage Door, Senke CNY Garage Door. How are you there, Jane?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for all your family does. You married into the family, right? Into the Senke family?
Correct.
Yeah, you're married to Tim.
Yep.
And, Tim's, what a great guy. He came over during the summer. They did a garage door for me. This is the second garage door I've gotten from Senke.
I thought you were going to say came over on the boat like you.
No.
I wasn't sure where he came from.
No, he just came over to make some adjustments. Yeah, because, sometimes when you put those, what do you call them? Electronic door openers, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're not adjusted just perfectly, right? And then when they hit the ground, they'll pop right back up and you got to get them all adjusted nice. But it took them 5 minutes. And
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. And you know what? It's funny. I had mine done and I hadn't even talked to any of my neighbors. And then I saw your truck there in 5 different places up and down the street.
Up at Scrippa's house?
Yeah, right around this corner.
Joe up there,
Yeah, that's wonderful. But you guys do a great job. How long have you been in the business?
Next year will be our 50th anniversary.
Oh, good golly, that's a long time.
So Tim's dad started or?
Grandpa,
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So third generation, which is rare.
It is.
Because the second generation usually screws it up. That's great.
Yeah.
What a legacy.
Yeah. Ed and Peg Senke started it in 1974. And then Tim's parents, Dave and Katie, took it over. And then now Tim and his sister Tracy own it.
Now, back then in 1974, Jane, and of course, you're a young lady, so I'm not saying that you were, that old in 74. But you have to have heard stories and stuff. Were there more single bay garages back then? There weren't double garages, were there?
Yeah, mostly single, I would say.
Yeah.
Our parents, my mom's not there now, but the house I grew up in, mom and dad. Single. And can you, maybe this is a good question for on the air, can you help my mother not knock the mirrors off every time she goes in? Now, do you have something, maybe just something a little wider there? Is there kind of anything for that?
Bigger garage door.
Yeah, okay. Bigger opening.
Yeah, right.
I'm just checking.
No kidding. But back then, what were the garage doors made out of?
Wood.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
All wood.
Pretty much all wood.
And what kind of a wood? Was it like a hardwood or a plywood? Or?
Hardwood.
Okay, yeah.
And plywood, but mostly the hardwood. A lot of the old wood doors, if they were made right, still are around. As long as you paint them and keep them maintenance. But
and of course, some of the cheaper ones, though, they swell. They were made out of the press board and all that.
Like you and me.
It's caca. Yeah. Well, the one they replaced for me back at my old house was like that. And it had all swelled up and everything. So any new trends in garage doors? Like what's new or improved, or what kind of doors do you sell, and what kind of openers now? What has changed over the years? Makes it better or worse or something?
Well, they have side mount openers, which you don't have to have the opener overhead of your garage or of your car.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So if you want space above, you don't have to worry about that. Or if you have a high vehicle, you can pull in, which a lot of people have.
Right. Well, Steve has his big Escalade, of course.
Come on. It's not true.
Yeah, so battery backup openers are a big thing. So if your power goes out, you can still get in your garage. As far as colors, there's so many more colors now for garage doors.
Right.
Wood grain colors is a big popular thing right now. People like the wood grain color look, but it's all steel. It's still, got the wood grain texture.
And that's a lot of exposure on the front of a home.
Yeah.
So the way the garage door looks is kind of a big deal, right, Tom?
It's like one of the best things you can do to improve the curb appeal to your house.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's so big. When you think
it's a lot of space. A double. I mean, how for two cars? That's what, 30 feet? I mean, how wide is it?
16. Usually a 16 to 18 foot wide.
Okay, that's
is a double door.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably have a 16. Scripup's probably got the big 18. Yeah. He's got the nice one.
Is there anything that people should do to maintain their garage doors? Or is this like, it broke, I call you?
Oiling it. Yeah. I mean, just call us. We'll service it and take care of it for you. But oiling a little bit once a year just to keep all the metal parts lubricated and working properly. Right. It dries out and then it doesn't want to run properly. Keeping an eye on it, not running into things to make it stop working, like the tracks.
Binding it, and something that I learned, never put things on the side of your garage door. Like a lot of people tuck things in the corners.
Careful, I got some fishing poles. Tell me
right. Well, yeah, because you put a fishing pole over there, right? And the wire, you got the wire that goes up to the coil spring. And if it catches that and it brings it up into the coil, you're hosed, because that'll just knot up everything. And that's what happened to me. And it cocked the whole door sideways.
Really?
Had to get a whole new door. Yeah.
Okay. You've probably seen that before, right?
Yeah. Or people put something in the track and then they shut the door and the door gets jammed. And
that's
any commercial doors or mostly residential?
Mostly residential. We do have some commercial customers.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, you've been doing this a long time, and if people don't have your door, can they call you for service? Because it seems like as soon as everything gets cold, everything starts breaking, in a lot of people's homes. Yeah. So then they call you up. You'll do service, right? All winter long?
Yep, all winter long. We install all winter long, too. But service is definitely a lot more in the winter because people use their doors so much in the winter.
But somebody could if they've been putting it off and now, hey, we're good in the spring, the summer, I got busy, they could actually replace a garage door in the winter.
All year long.
And just really quickly, we mentioned the C word, the COVID thing. Are prices still super high? They haven't come down.
They haven't come down at all.
They haven't.
No.
Good golly.
Yeah, but good. But you sell a quality product?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, there's probably garbage out there. I don't know a lot about garage doors, but there's probably good, better, best.
Yes, of course.
And you guys are more in the better, best category?
Better, best, yes.
And they can get financing through you, too?
We don't do financing, but we do a few payments.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay. Is the 656-3690 the right number?
That is.
So if someone maybe they want it to looked at, they've been putting it off, maybe it's crooked, maybe they're afraid the cable will break and cut their head off, you hear those stories.
Yes.
Right. So 656-3690. Senkes.com. Tom, you should spell that because that's a little awkward.
Senkes.com. Senkes. Senkes. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Jennifer Covert. She's the executive director of Meals on Wheels for Eastern Onondaga County. Stick around for that conversation right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're so happy you joined us on this weekend. This is The Local Show. For those of you keeping up with things, you found us and stumbled upon maybe the YouTube channel as well, which is Zoey Advertising on YouTube, as well as on the stream. So we're streaming, and we're on the AM and the FM. FM is 106.9 FM, and then 570 WSYR. And we're Tom and Steve from Zoey Advertising, putting together local businesses and letting you hear their stories. We encourage everybody, of course, to go out and shop local businesses throughout the holiday season as well.
Absolutely.
Holiday and afterwards.
No, it's just the season to ignore Amazon. How's that? I don't know. Just saying. Hey, and if you are, let's give a shout out to some people that are local.
Yeah.
Blake Jewelers over Township 5.
Oh, yeah.
We're over there last week live. If you want to pay way more for diamonds, go to the mall. If you want to buy them direct over there, Stephanie's great. They're right next to Subway. So get a sub.
Right.
But even like the jewelry, even like I purchased some things for Judy and things. It's just classy and nice. And if you're on that side of town and you need a mortgage, go to Geddes.
Okay.
People are still buying houses. They still are buying houses.
Do they do that during Christmas?
They do. They do not shut down the mortgage department. Or maybe you want to put your money in a big safe CD and not feel like the market's going to kill you.
Right.
But the folks at Geddes are local, so you can get it at Geddes.com, Tom.
There you go. All right. Right now, it's great to have Jennifer Covert with us. She's the executive director of Meals on Wheels of Eastern Onondaga County. How are you there, Jennifer?
I'm fantastic. How are you today?
Good. It's good to see you.
You too.
How long have you been in, the world of, what do we call this?
Rolling food?
No, not rolling food.
Moving
Nonprofits.
food. Nonprofits.
Yeah, nonprofits.
Quite
yes.
some time.
Okay.
Probably 15 years now.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I love a nonprofit. I'm big on that. So
Yeah, you like helping people.
I do. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like going to work every day and then coming home and being like, I did something great for somebody today. It's a really good feeling. So.
And you've done some other things like, if I recall, your brother has a pretty prominent band out there, right?
Yes, I may have dabbled in singing in a band or two in the past, which was my fun time.
Tell everybody who your brother is.
So my brother is Paul Valentino. He is a lead singer of Primetime.
Yeah, great
and
band.
They're just amazing
Stellar.
musicians.
Yeah.
And for a while, I was singing the weddings, which is really fun because you can dress up and eat some good food, and everyone's in a good mood and sing, make a couple bucks. So I did that for a while, and it was a lot of fun.
You come from a very musical family.
Everybody's musical in my family, so
Is Primetime the ones that get all the horns that come out on stage?
Yeah, he's got
sure.
horns.
It's a horn band.
They did my niece's wedding.
Oh, stop.
Yes, they did. Over at the Persian Terrace, yeah.
How long ago? Like recent?
Just this past year.
Okay, I was going to say I didn't sing.
Yeah.
that
No,
one,
you
but-
weren't singing.
No, there was a woman lead singer. Well, there wasn't you.
No, it was not. You're right.
So that's great. All right. So you like helping people and making them happy with your voice.
Yes.
And,
Exactly.
So tell us what Meals on Wheels does out there in your area now.
Yeah, so we feed homebound seniors and the disabled in our area. And really, it's folks that aren't able to get out and get their own food or aren't able to make their own food. So it's very important that they stay healthy and have nutritious meals. But even more important, we're that safety wellness check. So our volunteers will go out there and deliver the food and then check and make sure that they're okay. And that's super important, especially this time of year with the holidays.
Yeah, that's a big responsibility.
It is.
And of course, do you see an uptick during this time of year? People wanting the services, or does it stay steady?
Sometimes, actually, after the holidays, you see more of an uptick because a lot of the times our folks are with family members during the holidays, and then they leave, or they're not visiting anymore, and then they're back to the point where they're by themselves.
Okay.
So there's a little bit more after the holidays.
What is Eastern Onondaga County? I'm terrible with directions.
So Tom,
It's on the east side.
Tom.
What does it encompass?
It's not here.
Right. No, there's actually many areas, and I apologize. I've only been there for 2 weeks. So I brought it with me to make sure I didn't miss any areas. But basically, it's Fayetteville, Manlius, Jamesville, DeWitt, Lafayette, which is where I live, Tully, Fabius, Pompey, East Syracuse, Minoa, Kirkville, and Bridgeport.
Wow.
So lots of different areas we cover.
That's a big swath of land and a lot
sure.
of hoity-toity areas as well.
Some, but then also a lot of rural
I was
areas.
just going there. You went down there,
Yes.
Lafayette to Tully and hang a left at anywhere. And there's a lot of long country roads.
Absolutely.
Farms, maybe farmhouses that even aren't farming anymore
Yep.
and things like that.
Yeah, so it's even harder for those folks to get food because they're so far out there.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you talk about nutrition. Like Steve's idea of nutrition is a hot dog on a fork. And
okay, just to be clear.
or several of them
Wait, just
on
to
a
be
fork.
clear, that I skip the carbs with the roll. So I go right to the
All right. So you got some protein in there.
Okay.
That's good.
God only knows what's in that hot dog.
Right. Maybe not protein.
So you talk about nutritious meals, and that's interesting. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, seniors need a different type of diet than other people do.
Right.
I mean, they definitely need a lower fat, lower sodium. I mean, salt is a big thing.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, and just definitely more on the healthier side of things. You don't want to put a bunch of fat and sugar and salt into their diet.
Probably no salt in those hot dogs.
Definitely not.
That's the preservative.
No sodium hot dogs. I've heard of those for sure. But so, you know, we make sure that that's what they get. But on the other hand, you want it to taste good.
Yeah.
So these volunteers in the kitchen are making delicious. It's like your aunts and grandmothers in a kitchen making homemade meals. For
Do you
these
have
people.
nutritionists on staff? Or?
We have a contract with Onondaga County Office for the Aging, and they have registered dietitians that make the menu for us, which is wonderful. And then we make the food.
How many people volunteer?
We have a couple hundred.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to have at least, 10 to 12 people in the kitchen every day and, prepping the food and prepping for the next day. And then you've got the delivery drivers. We have 15 routes. So you've got all the people that do the delivery
15
driving.
routes.
That is a lot to manage. When you think about the safety, you have to have safety and concerns about cleanliness and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
That's a lot. And you're kind of in charge of all of that.
Yeah. It's never boring. Ever. There's always something to do. There's lots of moving parts, but that's what I like about it. So
very nice.
So what if someone was a recipient of Meals on Wheels, what would they receive and how often would they receive it?
Well, most people will get 2 meals a day. So you're going to get a cold lunch, which is sometimes salads or sandwiches, and a beverage, something to drink, milk usually with the calcium, and then a hot entree. And the great thing about the hot entree is they can choose. So they get a menu, and so one day it might be Parmesan crusted chicken or macaroni cheese, and then they would circle one, and they could pick every day what entree they want, which is nice. They have a choice. Yeah. And so a lot of times when we deliver, they're going to eat that hot meal at first because they're smelling it and it's hot. It looks wonderful. And then later on, they'll have their cold meal.
Now, how do people pay for this?
Some people privately pay. It's $10 a day, which is nothing for 2 meals and a drink.
Oh my goodness, right.
Can't
Delivered.
get that right.
Oh,
Then there's other programs if you qualify that are subsidized. Some insurance companies pay, part of care plans and things like that. We accept food stamps. I mean, just about anybody could get Meals on Wheels if they needed it. Yeah.
Okay, and people can call or go to the website. If they call 637 5446.
Yes.
Is that right? So 637 5446. They can sign up or have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay. Or the website, MOWEOC. That's like
Eastern Onondaga County.
Okay. Right. So Meals on Wheels in Eastern Onondaga County.
Yes.
And will you still take volunteers? Or you?
Oh, yes. We need volunteers.
Okay.
Especially this time of year.
Do you take donations or you just say no?
Oh, we take donations. Yeah. I mean, we live off donations. Every meal that goes out the door is subsidized because the food costs more than what we're charging. Right. So we definitely rely on donations, and we're in a small location. We're in a church. So we're wanting to grow. We want to build. We are looking to do that. So
awesome.
Help us.
Meals on Wheels.
All right. Jennifer Covert right there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Dave Ferguson. He's the owner of Fullscope Home Inspection right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And like a bad penny, we're back again. It's Tom and Steve from The Local Show. How are you there, Stevie?
Doing all right.
Did you buy your new set of, what do you call those things? The snowshoes? So
when
you
you
can
have
go ice fishing.
when you have size 15 feet, Tom,
you don't need them.
Just put your shoes on.
Put your sneakers. I'll tell you, I've been loving these Skechers slip-ons.
I saw those.
I thought they were goofy at first.
Well, they are goofy.
You don't have the Hey Dudes?
Oh, the Hey Dudes. That's right. Those are supposed to be good too, right?
But you really don't have to. They just go right on. And
they slip on, and you know what? It slides on nice and easy. It doesn't, fold down.
Just like our parents told us not to put our shoes on that way. Remember, it's like, you tie your shoes, you're ruining the back.
It's a good firm fit too, and it supports my big fat feet. So
yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, you should try them. I think they make them in,
Like
17s.
ginormous sizes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, go online and
You know what they say? Guys
Happy
with
feet?
big feet
have big feet.
have a big mouth.
Yes.
So there you go. Anyway, Tom and Steve here along with a new person to the show. It's Dave Ferguson. He's the owner of Fullscope Home Inspection. How are you there, Dave?
Very good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for being here. So I've known Dave for a little bit. Dave, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, you'll see that Dave is quite fit. Dave was in the weightlifting world for a long time and probably still works out, right?
A little bit.
Good.
Kind of restricted with some of the damage we've done to ourselves.
Oh,
over the years,
yeah,
you know,
the
but we do what
joints.
we can.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at Tom when he said that, just to be clear.
the damage.
When the word damage, all eyes.
When I go into the gym, they actually have ropes on me, like a Thanksgiving parade when I come in. Yeah, I'm trying to remedy that, but it's not easy. So Dave has been around the horn as a businessman for quite a while. When did you start Fullscope Home Inspection?
21 years ago, it'd be 2003 when we
Okay,
started that.
that's a while ago.
Been a minute, yeah.
Yeah, so you've seen a lot of ups and downs in the housing market as well.
More in the past couple of years than ever, that's for sure. Yeah.
So is it still lucrative, I guess, for you?
We're doing okay, but it's not like it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
18 and 19 were incredible. 20 took a little bit of a dip in the last couple of years just due to this market surge of buyers and not enough sellers. We run into some snags with our piece of the project being pushed aside for the competition on a house.
Well, yeah, because my wife is a real estate agent, and she was saying that in some cases, other agents, she never wanted to recommend this, but people were saying, don't use a home inspector, which I think is nuts.
Well, it's funny because we have this conversation a lot when I'm out and about with people, and they think, oh, you must be really busy now.
Yeah.
And when I explain to them why it's not quite the case, they start to get it. But it's because there are so many buyers and not enough houses that you've got 20, 30 people competing for one property. They all decide to up the ante and what they're willing to give up or how much more they're willing to spend to get that house. And it's turned into a situation where, a seller's in the driver's seat. I got 15 offers and only one wants an inspection. Why open that can of worms, right?
Right.
I'll take the highest bid and the least contingencies.
You can't blame the seller for that, really.
It is an unfortunate situation, and it's something that oftentimes the public puts a negative view or states it like you did, where don't get a home inspection. Right. I don't think any realtor doesn't necessarily want that for their client. But, however, if you want a house, it might be something you have to give up. And unfortunately, they do. Mm-hmm. And I've done, in the last couple of years, what I call the post-inspection.
Oh, afterwards.
They hire us after they bought the house.
Good golly,
And I sit them down and say, strap in. We've got some stuff.
That's got to be hard.
Yeah, I've broken a few hearts. I mean, it's really terrible to see.
Yeah. Because I know that, and you probably know Tom Sherman,
sure,
right?
So he got me started.
Yeah, your buddies with him. Now he's teaching the course, isn't he?
He does a lot of training. Yeah. He's gotten out of the actual field per se on the day to day, but
he saved the wife and I a bunch of. We were doing a for sale by owner, and we thought we were going to grab this house in North Syracuse, and luckily Tom went through it, and he says, "Geez, I hate to break your heart, but this is not good."
But at least he did it before you spent
exactly before we spent the money. So it was worth paying him and getting out of that deal and not doing it.
Has it changed? So interest rates have gone up significantly. The housing market's not as hot as it once was. Are people being smarter and actually getting home inspections now?
Well, it all depends on the house and the price range I'm seeing. The houses that need the inspections the most are the ones that are most sought after because it's the buyers that have that budget.
So the 250,000, I was going to say, right.
150, maybe 300,000.
Yeah.
They need them, 250, 150, 250, even 300. They're the ones where you're getting multiple offers. So they're the ones that are most notoriously waiving the inspections.
Right.
So that and interest rates are pushing buyers back, right? They're holding out. And this time of year, it tends to get quiet. So there's a lot of shifting going on, but it's far from where we were. And hopefully by spring, I'm optimistic we're going to get back to a little more normal.
What makes you a little different, Dave? Because I know education is important, and there are some people who may not be as scrupulous or educated as you. Mm-hmm. What makes Fullscope the way to
question.
go?
I can't acclimate that to 50 years in the construction industry because I wasn't. Right. But I can attest to 21 years of doing this specifically and having a lot of background in building, just through the years of doing my own projects and working with other contractors on various things. I've flipped many houses. And but my main thing, I think, is one, the 21 years of experience, and two would be just my nature, being OCD, a little inattentive, tends to
attention to detail.
Me.
You were always a detail guy.
So if there's a cape in North Syracuse, and you've probably inspected 100 capes in North Syracuse over the last 20 years.
1,000 or so.
Okay, there's a likelihood that on a cape, and this side, on the north facing, I want to check that soffit because, and I'm just, there's a tendency
absolutely
for these things that someone that has some mileage would know, and someone else goes, okay, well, the roof looks okay. I'm imagining. Is that
That's a perfect example because capes are notorious for losing heat, lacking insulation.
I just made that up. I don't even know.
Would you ever notice on capes you got the big icicles? You know,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, that's a cape problem.
So, how much does technology weigh into your business? You know, do you use technology?
Yeah, back in the day when I started, I fought it for a long time. The technology. I was a handwritten report guy, which I'm embarrassed to say now, but it did what it had to do at the time. But no, in the last decade, I've stepped into some of the best software that the market in our industry provides, and tweaked and refined it to something that I feel is an edge for sure.
Right.
To the point that I literally am embarrassed about the reports I used to do. This reporting system does full videos, and I do probably 100 to 150 pictures in any report. It's probably, if you printed it, it'd probably be about 60, 70 pages.
So the gain of that, they use the inspection, that actually helps them plan. If Tom wants to put a pool in, can he? If there's it's not just should I buy the house or not.
Right.
It's a lot more robust than that, right, Tom?
Sure. The majority of what comes out of the report, hopefully, if there's nothing major, is you've got a checklist of to-dos or understandings, things you might have tackled down the road or never touch at all. But it provides a roadmap for any specialty that might need attention.
So, Dave, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, we've got the website, which is dave@fullscopehomeinspection.com, but most directly to my phone number, which would be 315-395-1400.
395-1400. Call Dave Ferguson and get an honest, assessment of an upcoming home. Thank you so much, Dave, and it's great to see you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it very much.
Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Aaron Look. He's the owner of Glass Doctor of Syracuse. Randy Wolkin stops by. He's the president and CEO of MACNY, Manufacturers Alliance of New York. Natasha Schmidt, the co-owner of Rubberstone New York, will stop by, and then we'll round things out with Brian Dumond, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Aaron Look. He's the owner of Glass Doctor of Syracuse. Randy Wolkin is the president and CEO of MACNY, Manufacturers Alliance of New York. Natasha Schmidt stops by, co-owner of Rubberstone New York. And Brian Dumond is the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. You're with Tom and Steve from the local show. We are both employees of, what do you call this place? Zoey Advertising.
Yes. I know I am.
We do. Yes, we are. We're semi here.
And we all work for Lori, let's be honest.
Yes.
just to be clear.
Full service marketing, advertising. We can help you even with stuff that we're doing right now. This is like what we call these podcasts along with video casts. You can go on the interweb and the YouTube and see us. Okay. So we can help you with that.
It's all there. And this is the time of year where people are going, okay, 2024.
Right. What am I going to do differently?
What am I going to do? Am I going to do it
How am I gonna
myself?
grow?
That didn't work. Or maybe it did work or you spent too much or whatever. But have a conversation.
And here, let me give you, I'm going to give people a nickel's worth of free advice.
Go ahead. I don't know what you're going to say. It scares me a little bit. Go ahead.
Don't do it yourself. If you're going to try and do a podcast, don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can go out and buy the stuff for $2,000, $3,000, and then you're sitting with a bunch of cameras and a board, and you don't know what the heck to do with it.
It always made me laugh back in the day, a long time ago, and you've heard this.
Yeah.
I was good at photography.
Yes.
Okay. So anytime, Bag was like, wow, you must have a great camera. Okay, my camera's okay, but I know what I'm doing. So
Yes,
Tom, what
it
do you
does
have?
matter.
You have great speakers, right? Wow, that show you did, it was the speakers. Well, if I had speakers like that, I'd sound like you.
No. You see, and that's the thing. And it's the same thing like with a guitar. You watch like Stevie Ray Vaughan, playing a guitar, and it's all beat up and, things are falling off it and everything, but it sounds amazing because he's really good at what he does.
Right.
So it's not the equipment.
And
It's
his
the
age, things are
strategy.
falling off him too. Yeah.
Falling off of all of us. Anyway, we're here with Aaron Look right now. He's the owner of Glass Doctor of Syracuse. How are you there, Aaron?
Good. How are you?
Very good, my friend.
By the way, same with a guitar with glass. You got to be really good and know what you're doing.
That's a very good segue. That was good.
Very nice. Yes. So tell us, what does Glass Doctor do so that you're not just you don't just put in replacement windows, right? You're a full service glass person.
Right. Yep. Our team of technicians are called specialists. So we compare it to would you rather go to the doctor and have a technician work on you or a specialist? So our specialists, flat glass and auto glass, are really skilled in what they do.
Oh, auto glass. That's right.
That's a big part of it, right?
I don't think about the auto glass. Tell us more about
Until you
that.
have to.
Yes.
Go,
right.
yeah.
Tell us about
We
that.
have two different parts of the business, and auto glass is one of the equal parts to the business, and we do any type of auto glass on vehicles, boats, buses, trucks, anything that moves, pretty much.
Good golly.
So windshields, door glasses, back glasses,
And people wait till it breaks.
chip repairs. Yeah, I mean, there's no concern until it does break, really, most of the time. So
Yeah. It's funny. I remember my old DJ partner, Greg, and I were talking. I had an old Astro van one time, and we put the,
funny
remember
already.
the Astro vans, right?
Yeah, I
the
do.
Chevy Astro. And we were going out on a gig, and I had put the speakers standing up in the back, and there was about 6 inches between the speakers and the back window.
Somebody's speaker tipped over it.
It's tipped over and blew out the whole back window on the way to a gig.
Oh, and they blow out because it's safety glass, right? Isn't that why
Yeah, that
they
was-
just don't crack?
yeah, it's tempered glass normally in the back, so that way it's like you said, it's safe.
Yeah.
But a windshield, it used to be that nothing was attached to the windshield. This is science now. It isn't just, pop the glass in and out, right?
What do you have to do? Give us an example of what happens after you put in a new modern windshield.
Well, the first thing we do is we have to carefully disconnect any of the components that are attached to the windshield, such as the cameras for lane departure warning and things like forward collision alert.
And that's all integrated in the.
There's a mounting
windshield?
bracket attached to the windshield, and then the camera sits up in that bracket. So basically, what happens is once we remove that camera, so we can replace the windshield, we have to reposition it, recalibrate it to the center line of the road, so it can see what it's doing and see where you're going. If that camera's off just slightly, in several feet, that can be off quite a bit. So you want to make sure it's centered to the road. So
you have to have the knowledge and the expertise to do all that.
Right. Yeah. You have to have. So you have to be certified, and you also have to have the right style of equipment. There's different types of calibration equipment depending on what type of camera you have in the vehicle.
So Glass Doctor, you work with insurance companies if people have glass on their car? Is that
Yes.
how it works?
Yes.
So what if it's just a chip? Should they fix it, leave it?
Well, it depends on there's a lot of variables that go into that. So most smaller size chips can be repaired. You don't want to have, 3 or more, or, you get to a certain point where you can't repair the holes anymore in the windshield and you got to replace it.
Okay.
I see.
This time of year, people using their tables and stuff and dining and all the things. Last year, you made a piece of glass for our 4x4 table that's thick.
Right.
And it has the edge, and it's so much cleaner, and we aren't worried about making coffee heat marks on the glass. that you would consider that flat glass. That's the other part of the business?
Yeah, that would be our other division of the business, I guess you'd call it. And that's flat glass, such as tabletops, like you're talking of, shower enclosures is a large part of our business.
Oh, no kidding. Do you work with contractors? You don't actually make the bathroom, do you, or shower?
No, yeah, the contractor normally will come in and finish, the tiles, and once the tiles are complete, we'll come in and measure for glass, and
then you'll put that all in.
We can customize it to whatever openings.
So you can do frosted glass, and could you do like a moniker in the glass, or?
It's with glass. It's really today. It's unlimited in what we can do.
No kidding.
There's a lot of customization.
That's beautiful.
Wow. I stopped in when I was getting the glass for my table.
Yeah.
And it went down Memory Road, Tom, because he's located right where the airbase comes out on Taft Road.
Right.
Do you remember cutting through the airbase as a kid?
I never cut through.
We used to cut through the airbase as a shortcut.
Right, yeah.
Back, 45 years ago.
I'd be worried they'd shoot at me.
Well, they probably would. But right there, people can contact you through the phone.
Right on the corner of Taft.
Right on the corner. It's right there. I walked in. Your people were very nice. Nice. They were, you weren't there, but they were laughing about you, which I thought was fun.
Only one location?
Good they're able to do that.
Only one location, or do you have a couple? Or?
We have also Glass Doctor of Watertown, New York.
Okay.
So we're right on Outer Washington Street in Watertown.
Yes, we know where that is.
We have a full service shop there as well.
Very good.
So we hit a fairly large area between, Cortland and Governor.
And let's just cover this really quickly too. If you have an older home that you love the look of, right? You can replace the windows without replacing. You can replace the glass without like going to a. What do you call those windows? The
replacement windows.
Yes, a vinyl.
Call
That's
the windows
enough.
replacement windows.
I was looking for that word, vinyl. So if you had like wood windows with a special type of sash and all that, you can just put the glass in if you need to.
And most, if not just about all windows, we can replace just the glass. So foggy windows, condensation between the panes.
Yes. Will you fill it with argon or krypton or anything like that?
We can fill it with argon. It's a
very nice
insulated window and low E coatings, and
you do all that.
So Glass Doctor, right, Taft Road, right at the what is it, Thompson Road? What's that one that comes
Thompson
out?
And Taft.
Thompson and Taft. If someone wants to get a piece of glass or to ask about it, 433-2339, 433-2339. Aaron Look from glassdoctor.com right here in town.
You got it. All right. Randy Wilkins coming up next. He's the president and CEO of MACNY, Manufacturers Alliance of New York, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You're back at it again, and if you're here, that means we are too. It's The Local Show.
We're here anyway, Tom.
With Tom and Steve.
If they're not here, we're still here.
We're here for you and your enjoyment. The beginning of the holidays all set to go. I called the men in kilts because, they're doing some snow blowing as well.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't know what's blowing up their skirt, but they're...
That whole kilt thing, I don't know. They're nice guys and everything.
I can't imagine in the winter they're going to be wearing the kilts.
I don't know. It's kind of like the...
or something underneath them.
When Nate, my youngest, who's now serving our country, was playing sports at the YMCA. And I was one of the coaches. And I remember, he's like 7 or 8. He goes, Dad. I go, what? He goes, when do the costumes come in?
The costumes.
To him, the uniforms were like, because you're playing a role.
Yes.
And I was like, Dad, when do the costumes come in?
That was just fun.
That's awesome, right?
It really is.
Now he's wearing a military costume, but he's hardcore.
That's one heck of a great costume.
That is a great costume, yes.
But so the men in kilts, I had called them just in case, we got major inches of snow. But luckily, we kind of missed the bullet on that one. But it's coming sooner or later. So I
would have called the boy Nicholas, but that's me.
Yeah, well, he hurt his ankle. Did you know that? I had to go over to the
Yeah, he's just trying to get out of work.
Bone and Joint Center.
He's just
so I walked him into the Bone and Joint Center there, and it's so busy. It's like Wegmans.
Yeah, everybody in that place looks like you and me, though.
Oh my God! Well, no, there were a lot of young people, and they have like 3 waiting rooms, and I'm like the Bone and Joint arena is really filled.
I've limped in out of there a few times.
Oh my goodness! Anyway, we've got somebody who walked in on his own recognizance. It's Randy Wolkin, President and CEO of MACNY, Manufacturers Alliance of New York. How are you there, Randy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
You're a pretty popular guy nowadays. I mean,
manufacturing is where to be. Yeah, there's a lot going on in that space.
We were told that you brought in and brokered that whole Micron deal.
No, that takes many people to work on that, and it was a fascinating set of conversations that resulted in a massive amount of investment, and it all starts next year.
So, what do you say about the people say it's not going to happen?
Well, just wait to see the construction site actually come to life. Next year, during the year, you'll end up having about 5,000 construction workers.
No kidding.
That will actually descend on that site.
Are you exaggerating?
I'm not exaggerating.
Really, that many construction workers?
Construction workers will, and that will be there for as long as we're building fabs. And quite frankly, we're expecting 1, 2, maybe up to 4. I mean, the commitment is 4 fabs over 20 years. So it is happening. I mean, I do know that people are concerned, like it might not happen, but the first fab will begin construction.
Yeah, there's a lot of naysayers. And Steve, you and I got to get a food truck together.
Yes,
that many workers.
There'll be a lot of people eating.
Tom, have you looked at us? I don't think we need to own a food truck. That might be a problem.
I'm going to start making scones, man. I want
you should.
have a truck.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is happening. And reality is we're actually going to be in an accelerated pace for new housing. We'll need a lot of new housing. We build about 250 homes a year in Onondaga, and we're going to need 2,500 annually.
Where are all these workers coming from, Randy?
We're going to need to have individuals who are here look at new career opportunities that will pay them very well in the advanced manufacturing space. And you can get those jobs right out of high school with some related instruction having to do with companies who will hire you and pay you while you're learning.
Yeah. And there's a lot of unions here who have training programs.
In terms of construction, about 50-50. So you're both union and non-union. That has to do with both 81 and also existing construction. I mean, what's nice is the pipeline is filled with companies already expanding. Wow. You may have heard about advancements, and the reality is that hundreds of new working jobs are going to be needed starting next year.
What's MACNY's role in all this?
So we work with these 300 plus existing companies, and Micron's actually a member of ours. So we're working with them on a weekly basis as they get ready for what their hiring needs will be for the fab itself. So they'll construct the fab starting next year. It'll be up and running, and their first production will be late 26, 27. So really fast.
Yeah, it's happening fast.
And then once they build out, that first fab will probably have around 2,000 people in it. And that'll just be their people. That won't be the 4X related to the number of jobs. So we're talking the first fab probably up to 25,000 jobs.
Incredible.
New jobs.
If someone was young, like not Tom and I, or maybe someone's kids or grandkids, how can they get connected to what's going to happen and maybe get trained? What would your recommendation? You're like the uncle going, hey, kid, here's what I would do. What would you say?
So start young. Start when you're in high school. Start when you're in middle school. There are technical career pathways now in many schools, and they're adding more of those. So the technicians are about half the jobs. It's not all college. In fact, only about half of them actually are degree needed. It's so start immediately in terms of your schooling. We probably know the STEAM school is opening in the city of Syracuse. That's related to technical degrees. And most high schools are doing the same thing now. We're working with schools like Liverpool and many others throughout the community as well, far and beyond. So start at the school level. But if you're looking and thinking about changing careers, that'll happen too. Initially, there are 2 needs. One is construction jobs, people who are interested in construction trades. You can start an apprenticeship program now. There are ways to do that. And second of all, there are existing job openings, which are really making, quite frankly, we have literally thousands of jobs open right now in the skill space.
Do you have a relationship with Onondaga Community College? I know they have that program.
Yeah, we've had Dr. Hilton here.
Yeah.
Yes, they actually are leading the way. We also work with the Mohawk Valley Community College. We work with Cayuga Community College.
Okay.
We're working with the BOCES system. So the BOCES both Onondaga County BOCES and city BOCES up in Oswego.
Mm-hmm. And those jobs, are they going to be paying like 30 grand or 25 grand?
No, actually, these jobs are going to start out in the $19 range hourly.
Hourly, okay.
And they're going to go to $30 an hour. So we're talking, really great jobs in the $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 range and above. And above. And the Micron jobs will start at six figures.
Oh, wow.
That's technicians included. So
that's wonderful.
And
people are going to
3
move
years
here.
out. So how long? Micron, what is it? 3 years for that job to start, maybe?
Yeah. So right now, the best way is to start in a local company that's going to start you out at $18, $19, $20 an hour.
Right.
And then there'll be an opportunity over time if you choose. You might like to stay there in those companies. A lot of great companies. They're also tech jobs. Or you'll move to another job. So, if you want to know more about jobs that are open today, you go to macne.org. We actually have a career and talent platform. We literally have hundreds of jobs open right now. And those are the same kinds of jobs that will be there as Micron comes. Existing companies need workers today.
Yeah.
And there'll be more jobs in the future.
So, all you naysayers out there that see me and say, geez, we heard your interview with so-and-so and Joe Scrippa and, and they go, oh, this is not happening. That's just a bunch of crap.
It's happening as we speak.
Yeah.
They're actually preparing the
roads are being prepared.
Oh, yeah. The construction's already happening on the road system.
Yeah.
Near the site, near in Clay, and also on the interchanges around 81 as that happens.
Right. So
this is all happening.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've sat in traffic to celebrate that already.
I'm glad you're celebrating. Somebody has to.
And all of you construction workers out there, just keep in mind the Tom and Steve Moonpie truck is going to be up and running. It's coming your way.
I'm going to stop and get one.
We'll sell Wolken burgers.
There you go. And that. Well, Randy Wolken right there. Thank you for all that you do with Macne and all your staff does over there. Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk with Natasha Schmidt. She's the co-owner of Rubberstone, New York. Stick around for that conversation on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we're back again, the last bastion of good quality talk radio. There, you happy? I said it.
You save that every time.
I know you wanted to hear that, so it makes you feel good.
It doesn't. It's annoying, and it's annoying,
right.
Which is why you do it.
That's right. And I
Just
like
to be clear.
Get your goat and all that.
Goodness.
But hey, folks, thank you for joining Tom and Steve for a little talk. We talk about local businesses, and we talk to those business owners that you might know. And if you don't know them, that's even better, because we feel like we're introducing you to some local businesses around here. And right as we get into this holiday season, we want you to do business locally.
Yeah, no offense to Amazon.
No, everything has its place. But there's there's a lot of people around here with great services, especially our restaurants. When you're out, make it a point to make a day of it. You go out, you do a little shopping, and go eat somewhere.
Well, we can't eat anymore, Tom. Both of us discovered that we have to stop eating.
Yes, I am 671 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I'm going to try and trim down from there.
I'm a little taller, but we weigh the same.
But we had, what's his name on? Jake Hafner.
Yeah.
And I went over to Hafner's not too long ago, the wife and I and Nicholas. And what great food. They have such a great variety over there. Yeah. And there's some place I don't go to often.
Right.
I hadn't in a long time. So that's nice. So a quick story for you. You were asking about Thanksgiving and Kelly had to go get the girl child and bring her back from Florida. So, I was out in the garage working on stuff like I normally do, and I had the turkey defrosting. So it was defrosting, and I put it on the ground. And now Kelly says that I'm an idiot for putting it on the ground, but of course she says I'm an idiot on a daily basis.
Okay,
but I didn't think that's a big deal. It was a chunk of ice, So I'm letting it defrost over the 3 or 4 days
on the garage floor.
On the garage floor, and of course I got both dogs at home. It's me and the dogs, and
what could go wrong?
I'm working on the door, and I see Mikey over there a couple of times. He's the beagle, folks. For those of you keeping up with things, and anybody who knows, the beagles are a bigger glutton than me. Yeah. So he's licking and everything. I was like, Mikey, what are you doing? So I move it over. I put a towel underneath it and didn't pay much attention. So then another night goes by. And he's out there, and it's still on the ground, only on a towel. And then Mikey's doing the same thing. He's kind of like, licking.
Please don't turn the radio off, friends. Keep going.
So
this story might end.
Now it's Thanksgiving Day, and I grab the turkey and bring it into the sink, and I start to, unwrap it. Well, there's a huge hole in the bottom of the turkey, and all the turkey meat is coming out of it. So apparently, Mikey had broken that bag open, and I didn't know it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So we had to throw away the turkey on Thanksgiving Day. Thank goodness to Danny Wegman and the gang.
Yes.
They were open, and we went over.
$120 later, you had a turkey.
$1,000 for a turkey breast. I think that's a little obscene, but we bought a little tiny turkey breast and stuff like that.
So where'd you bury the dog?
Oh, goodness. I wanted to kill it. I really did. Hey, don't let Troy Waffner hear me say that.
I don't know. That's
over
right.
At the SPCA.
Oh, my goodness. So,
but that was my turkey story. So we had some turkey, but not a lot.
Life is like that. Sometimes at the height of our revelries, when our joy is at its zenith, when all is most right with the world, the most unthinkable disasters descend upon us.
Like from a movie. You went up for Chinese.
Right. But those ding beagles or something.
Say, hey, look, Natasha's here.
Yes. So Natasha is the co-owner of Rubberstone, New York. How are you, Natasha?
I'm very well, thank you.
How was your turkey?
My turkey situation was much better.
Much better.
Yes, much better.
Did your husband shoot one, or did you guys have a...
Yeah, we picked it right off the field.
Yeah. They hit it with the Rubberstone truck.
Yeah, that's how we did it. We shot actually rubber at it, and then it just came.
He doesn't hunt for turkey, does he?
No. My family hunts for turkey, but he does not.
Okay.
There was a turkey that was purchased from a store.
From a store?
Yes.
So they have turkeys in Ohio.
We have turkeys in Ohio, yeah, and they did not cost us $1,000.
My goodness.
Very nice. So, you were out of town for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now you're back, and what goes on at Rubberstone in the winter? Because can you cover outside during the winter? Probably not.
No, so we can't do any exterior work, but we can do exterior consultations.
Very
so,
nice.
Even on a day like today with the snow that came in yesterday, there's still consultations that are going on. So we just clear the area off to the best of your ability so we can get a good look at it. So we're still doing estimates, but what we are installing is basements. We're doing entryways, and we're doing commercial work this time of year.
Very nice, yeah. When you say commercial work, what do you mean?
Well, John's out at Driver's Village right now looking at their locker room or bathroom, or there's some sort of room at Driver's Village where we could possibly put epoxy
Very
on,
nice.
So.
That Driver's Village, I had gone out there to get some service work done. And the old Pencam Mall, they still have that all dressed up in there. It's very nice. They got antique cars.
The clock's still there. Well, that was walking distance. That was right by where I grew up. Mom still lives right there. So.
Right, yeah. In fact, they still say you're not allowed in.
There's a sign.
There was one incident, just one incident.
But I was walking around there, because I had to waste a little time, and I did a little walk, and I thought, this is a nice place. We should go over there and do a walk every day.
No, there's office space there.
Office space and everything.
It is kind of cool.
So I could see where you guys could fit in very nicely over there.
So you're still in basements, though, right? It's not too cold for that.
Yeah, so basements in the residential market is our biggest focal point, I think, in the winter time. All of our products are really applicable for there. It just depends on the aesthetic, what the customer is looking to achieve. So we do a lot of our Sierra stone in basements because it's that really nice, decorative, polished, elegant look, and we can only do it interiorly. So
let's unpack that just a little more so people understand what it is. Rubber stone in general is a poured in place. You can't use the term epoxy, right? It's not.
She'll say hand troweled. She loves saying that. Go ahead, say hand troweled.
It is. It's a poured in place hand troweled.
She loves it.
Safety surface.
And it's got rubber, so it's like little rubber fragments, okay?
Yeah, granules. Crumbed rubber. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, and that can come in any color. So you mix that with like a polished stone that almost look like gemstones or river stones, right?
Yeah, river rock. So you can do it that way. You can mix the two products. More commonly, though, for basements, it's just the straight 100% Sierra stone.
Okay.
Which is just the natural river rock. It comes in about 9 to 10 different
with none
colors.
of the rubber in it.
None of the rubber.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah, for
gotcha.
interior work. Yep.
Yeah.
And it comes with a standard 2-part epoxy system. It's also poured in place and hand troweled.
Well, isn't that slippery?
It's not slippery, no. So depending on the application, we can just do it as is. We can polish it, hand finish it, leave it as it is. In some instances, we do broadcast the same translucent traction control additive that you would put in a standard 3-layer epoxy system.
Okay.
But it's not waterproof. Water runs through it, by it, next to it. How does
it's semi-osmotic?
Yes, it's semi. Ooh. Well, that was fancy.
Wow, I didn't think you owned that word.
It's semi-permeable for the rest of us.
Hand trout.
Yes, hand trout. So water lingers on top for a little while. It does eventually permeate through, but there is a primer bonder base coat which goes directly over the surface. So no elements, no water, nothing gross is actually getting to the concrete any longer.
So you do your basement now. It's winter. We're not doing anything else.
Right?
RubberstoneNewYork.com. Talk to Natasha, 463-5916, 463-5916.
Yes, please call them because I think I cheated her by telling my stupid story at the beginning.
I thought it was hilarious.
I didn't realize how much time that took.
The problem is everybody turned the radio off. That was more than...
Oh, man.
That was a good story.
If they don't turn the radio off when you talk, they're not going to turn it off for me.
That's fair.
All right. Thank you, Natasha. That's wonderful. Okay. Brian Dumond is coming up next. Oh, boy. A couple of wins for the Giants. He's going to be happy.
Wow. They're going to...
President of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found it, The Local Show, right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, and of course, Zoey Advertising on YouTube. You can check out all that fine YouTube fodder. And after you get through all that crap, watch something fun like The Local Show. Because there is a lot of junk on there.
There is a lot of junk on there. But so why do we watch it so much time?
I don't know. Because I'm trying to lose belly fat. So like I watched 732 videos on how to lose belly fat. And it's like all saying sort of the same thing.
I don't know why I keep getting videos about golf and fishing and Jesus. I don't know why.
Oh,
I think they have me figured out. So I think they do. And, these are they've got us, Tom.
They do.
They got us.
And my wife and I have noticed that when we talk about stuff in the car, we go on YouTube later that day and it's served up. So we're wondering who's listening.
Well, I don't know anybody who would want to listen to you and Kelly talking in the car.
We were talking about blinds the other day in the car. We got home and went on YouTube and there was all these blind videos.
Yeah,
not blind as in not seeing, but
Well, we were one of our 700 vacations, as you would say.
Yes,
Tom,
that's right.
A few weeks ago, and so we get back, and now it's all go back to Florida, and now they're hitting you with all of those things, which is
that's marketing.
Those marketing people are something.
Right now, it's our pleasure to bring on Brian Dumond. He is the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan, a big supporter of the show, and a wonderful human being. Thank you for being here, Brian.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell tell me about your Thanksgiving. What went on? Do you guys stay local or you go driving someplace?
No, we go over to my folks' house in Liverpool, and just a great weekend. Extremely busy, but great.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, it was my wife, my parents, and my mother-in-law, and everyone gets along and enjoys each other.
That's nice.
And then Thanksgiving night, everybody, my entire family, started coming in from out of town.
Oh, okay.
And Friday was my parents' 60th anniversary.
Oh, wow. No, God
and
bless them.
so they had a house full. They had the grandkids. They had the great-grandkids. They were just excited, and it was a wonderful time had by all. And I'd like to really, I don't normally do this, but a shout out to Nichols Supermarket in Liverpool and a shout out to Francesca's because we got there the day after Thanksgiving, okay, and picked up food for the party, and both places couldn't have been nicer. And everyone raved about the food and the cake and everything. It was just a wonderful thing.
You know how to live, man.
Oh,
well, you missed the story Tom just gave because you weren't in here.
Right.
So how was your turkey?
Turkey was wonderful.
Well, so some of us in the room, not me and not you, frosted their turkey on the garage floor and the dog ate it, but I'm not going to point fingers.
Oh, wow.
Well, he undid the packaging and the raw turkey was...
So I'm not going to point fingers or anything.
Yes.
But at least you were smart enough not to do that, right?
I was definitely smart enough, but I also knew that I wasn't getting leftovers. So I went and we bought a pre-cooked turkey breast.
Smart move.
We bought stuffing. We bought everything. So we were set with turkey dinners the rest of the week.
So tell me about, you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and you're having a wonderful sports season too because your Giants are winning.
What's up with that?
Can you believe that they're winning?
Yeah. They're even messing that up because if they continued to lose, they get a great draft pick. But now they're winning just enough so they don't. And I'm like, what are you doing to me?
The Cardinals and the Panthers are lower than them.
Yes, so far.
Right. So there's still time.
Yes.
Good golly.
No, I was texting Brian a couple games ago, wasn't I? Was it Thanksgiving weekend?
Yeah.
I'm like, there was like they were ahead with a minute to go, and Washington had the ball. I go, what did I say? They can't lose now. He's like, stop. we were laughing about it. So,
but hey, Tommy DeVito, former SU product, went over to Illinois, but he's making good. The first couple games, I thought, oh, that poor man's just getting killed. But all of a sudden, it's like he figured it out.
Yeah.
And so good for him.
Well, that's a fun time for you, which is probably attributes to your wonderful cherub-like demeanor. Very nice.
I just had a vision of Cupid wearing a diaper, and then that just didn't.
Well, you're a happy guy. You're not one of those stuffed shirts.
Canva and Photoshop can go a long way. You just gave me an idea, but I won't let that happen.
Don't let that happen.
Hey, I got to say another shout out since I'm doing that. You guys have a huge fan. Her name is Mary, and she does a chow rescue.
No kidding.
So she listens to your show. She watches it on YouTube. So
great.
Shout out to Mary.
What's chow rescue?
Yeah, not the food. That's what I do. Okay,
chow dogs, little dogs. Yes.
No, they're not little.
They're not very little.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
And they have some challenges.
Well, she would know, not me, but so she's a big fan of the show.
Well,
they're smart and strong and have trained well. They're the best. They're fabulous dogs.
Well, that's very good. So in this holiday season, are Christmas what do you call those things?
Loans?
Christmas clubs? Are those still a thing?
Christmas clubs exist. We don't normally advertise them, but we have them.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody is like, geez, I wish I had set the money aside and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You can ask about them. We'll hook you up.
Right.
So $20 a week, take it out of your account or whatever, and you look at the end of it, and you got $500 to go waste.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it tax-free?
and spend on the folks that gave you good financial recommendations
There we go.
to save for their whole year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you see coming down the pike with mortgages and interest rates and all that stuff?
Well, if I could tell you if I knew, I would be a millionaire. But the way I'm looking at it is, and what I've read Again, this is not me saying what's going to happen. I'm not guaranteeing.
No one's going to hold your feet to the fire.
Right. But it looks like there may be 1 or 2 next year tops of decreases, and then it looks like they're done. But again, it all depends on so many other factors,
Right.
What's going on over, there's a war going on.
Sure.
And there's all kinds of things that could affect it.
But with you guys, you have, with Geddes Federal, you have a lot of different loans, too, that suit people at different stages of life, right?
Exactly. Right now, what we're seeing is a few years back, everyone was getting mortgages for 3%, 2.5%, 3.5%, whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't want to get out of those. They're loving those.
Yeah.
But what they're doing, instead of refinancing, they're going for home equity loans and home equity lines of credit.
Yeah.
So that way you can maintain your low interest mortgage and just take out the unnecessary funds that you might need to do whatever projects you have, rather than doing a refinance mortgage.
Sure.
Now that the snow's on the ground, anybody slide down the hill into your parking lot yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But there's that's one way to get a new customer.
Yeah.
Slide on in.
Take what you can get.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, so home equity loans and home equity lines are big.
That's what's hot.
CD rates still decent?
CD rates are great. We still have CD with rates over 5%. So, at different terms.
Without small print.
Without the small
That you
print.
shared that last time. I thought that was a big caveat. It isn't okay if
It isn't minimum dollars. Well,
Right.
you have to have $500
Right.
to open up a CD.
Sure.
But 18-month, 14-month, and 4-month, all you can get that great rate.
Very nice.
Fabulous.
Well, that's Brian Dumond right there. Thank you so much for all you do, Brian, and your staff and everybody. And if you need any blue face paint, I'll get you a whole gallon for the new year.
Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. All right, Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show. You can go home and just get away from me. Thank you.
I plan on it.
Very nice. On behalf of Zoey Advertising, Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Why don't you take a walk every day with a friend or family member, because it keeps the weight down and the mind clear. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.